Gentlemen, welcome to this week's edition of the Coach Shawn Witten Show. I'm Stacy Street along with my partner, Tony Briggs, and as always, we're joined by Coach Shawn Witten. Coach, first of all, we'll recap the big win by the Cyclones last week as they took the long trip down to Evansville to take on Ray County. Remember when we talked last week, you said in whatever form that it is, it's important that you came out with a win last week, and that's what you did.
Well, I think that, we really tried to, at the end of the game, when the game was over, the message was, there wasn't nothing easy about that win. We had to earn it on every single play. We got knocked down several times. We had to come back. And it was just good for us to see at the end of the game kind of come out on the other end of all of the tough games that we've gone through this year. But just knew it was going to be a tough battle. Knew it was going to come down to the fourth quarter. And it was great to see our guys execute some plays. We hung in there. We played tough. Physical bunch on offense and defense. And but just all around, great game by our guys, and we talked about it too. How big of a win it was going to be. Probably a kind of a game changer for us, kind of a must win, and our guys got it.
It's been well documented this week about how bad the traffic was going down there and the car hitting the bus and all of that. What concerned me more, and Tony and I talked about this, the first 7-8 minutes of that ball game had to be exactly what Ray County wanted to draw up. A long drive that, we're averaging 6, 7, 8 yards a carry. And it kind of puts you behind the 8 ball, and they hang 7 on you, and now you're chasing points to get a team that does that. How did you help your team respond to that?
Well, we had a couple of go-to plays that we wanted to go to, especially early right off the bat. But when you have a 7-minute drive, you kind of say, okay, what does our first possession need to look like? Well, we needed to get a couple first downs, give our defense some time to make some adjustments. We knew it was going to take a series or two for us to kind of figure out, the style of the offense we're going to face. The kind of that if you go too wide, they're going to hit you inside. You stay in there tight, they're going to go outside. But we got off to a really good start. First possession, we had some plays we wanted to get to. Big 3rd and 1, we got Cade in the flat. We came back on a 3rd and 8, tried to hit Cade on a out route on a flood pass, and we just missed it there. But we got the looks we wanted. We got Nate going, tried to get Nate going early and give us some minutes there. The first couple of drives, we got the midfield. We just got stopped. So, but then again, it was great to see. We went to a big pass play that we had drawn up. A lot of the things we've been trying to go to, especially on the offensive end, is we've been trying to use formations that kind of help set up another play. And so we did a little bit of motioning early in the game, and we came back to the motioning, hit dry on a big play. I thought the game changer for the game was the score right before half. Just knew we were going to get the ball back. We scored in 20 seconds, hit dry on a dig across the middle, and then just what he's able to do with the ball after the catch is just phenomenal. And then as soon as we got down there, we hit Nate on the outside run play, and that was a big difference in the game. But I thought, going into the game, Stacy, I thought our guys had a lot of confidence on offense, and I think that we knew on 2 particular plays, we knew we could score regardless of where we were on the field.
And, we spent a lot of time last week talking about the wing tee or what they do, and you said when you watch them on tape, they come out in something different. Well, lo and behold, we get down there, find out 20's there, and they line up in an eye and sometimes in a power eye. How did, and going into halftime, even though with the quick score, we're kind of scratching our heads, but you continue to be able to go in at halftime, make adjustments. What did you do? Because it was a different ball game in the second half.
Well, I give credit to our guys. I mean, I thought that, our guys stayed calm for one. We kept our composure. We talked about the things we had to do different. And when you play a team like them, they've seen it all defensively. 5-man front, 4-man front, stack backers, you try to roll the coverage. You just got to keep them in front of you, keep the big play from happening. When 12 was going in and out of the game as the cue, it kind of put a wrinkle in some things because just didn't know where the big plays were going to come from. And we knew that, 32 was going to get a heavy dose and hit us on a halfback pass, which, that's just tough to stop because you're coming up there making plays. But I thought offensive line, when we went to some spread sets, they were squeezing us from the defensive line standpoint. When we packed it in there, they were kind of moving out. So we just had to do some counter punches. I thought our game plan really for us was, we tried to get Nate going outside early. Then we finished the game with him going inside early. I thought one of the big keys in the second half was him shoulders square downhill. He gutted it right between the center and the guard, and didn't even have to phase out of there. That was a really good play. But kudos to our offensive line, kudos to our defensive line, linebackers, making some plays. Zeth Mullins had some big stops, 2 critical plays. Cade Russell kind of got off to a slow start in the first quarter, but man, he sure picked up some blocking at the H-back and tight end position in the fourth quarter.
You was talking about you thought the play of the game was a score and a half. I told Stacy the play of the game, for my opinion, was when Zeth made that huge tackle on 3rd down and long where he had the wide open field.
Well, I thought 2 plays in particular. They threw a screen pass on our sideline early in the game, which we didn't cover the screen from the wing tee or the I formation very good, but Zeth split the double team out on the edge, which ended up being a big stop for us to get the ball back, which ended up being our first score. And then also, here's the thing that sets up that play with Zeth is, when we scored, they answered right back on the long run. Well, Zeth was in that same spot, and he kind of stretched the ball out, instead of just forcing it. So you get him on the sideline, Coach Grindstaff and I were talking to him, and he looked at us, Coach, it ain't going to happen again. Well, the 4th down and 1, they split the receiver out on his side. He goes out, Teddy goes back. Good thing he gets in the backfield and gets the 4th and 1. So just credit to our guys. That's what we talk about, continue playing, coaching them, make the adjustments, not panic mode. Hey, it's not that you did anything wrong. We just got to make a few adjustments on the things they're doing. And where Zeth got mixed up was they kept running the sweep out of the wing tee, but the sweep out of the wing tee in the I formation is different. So when it's I formation, you got to force it. The wing tee, you got to kind of drag it out. But kudos to those guys just stepping up and making plays, and I thought that was huge for us. It's difficult for defensive linemen, you overplay it, they cut underneath you squeeze it, they get outside of you, but great job by our defense, making the plays when we needed to.
With the wing tee, we spoke about it last week. You're limited in your possessions. We had 3 possessions the whole entire first half. They had 4, but their last one was a kneel down, so it's 3-3. And then we had like 3 possessions 3rd quarter. They had 3. How did the adjustments that you come in going into that 4th quarter? It seemed like when 12 went out defensively, it seemed like they were a little bit unsure.
Well, I think that we tried to set up some play. We were motioning in. We tried to set up some toss crack to get Nate on the outside because they ran a 3-man front. The ends were playing really strong on us, kind of squeezing a lot of plays. But we tried to we hit some flood pass. Teddy had a big 3rd down catch. We tried to. Cade had a big 3rd down catch, and then obviously, we were able to kind of get the ball. I think one of the biggest things too was the field position, of where we pinned them inside the 10-yard line twice. And we've not had that all year. And so just allowing them to give us the ball back at midfield ended up allowing us to execute and make some plays there. But I thought that we were able to hit some tall sweeps instead of going out of the spread, and we used the tight end H-back. I thought Justice as a freshman had a big night, hitting some key blocks on the edge there. But it's just kudos to our guys. We made some critical adjustments. We were able to hit a tall sweep. We pulled the guard out and led out in front with Nate. But I'm telling you, the counter plays of just getting Nate to where he can go inside and out is truly efficient, because it's kind of the same thing. If you get those backers playing wide, he's going to gut you. You get them in here tight, we're going to get that ball off the edge. But start of the game, we tried to hit some options. That was one of the things we wanted to try to go to. We tried to get the ball out in space, and then we knew we came in with some quick traps on the inside. But Brad was a difference in our offense down in the short yardage red goal line, and obviously the plays that Dry made were big for us early in the game.
last question, and we'll wrap this first segment up. With all the adversity, what did you learn about this team Friday night?
Well, I learned that, I've told our team all, I think our greatest characteristic is our team's toughness. But I think that, somewhere along the line, we have to have more than toughness. Toughness can only going to take us so far. Other teams are going to be tough too. I thought our execution at critical moments and the times of the games was pinpoint. I thought that we settled down and we got the blocks we needed to. We finished the last drive without having to give it back to them. I kind of wish Nate would have scored on that and put an exclamation mark there. But we knew, like when they scored, at our second drive, we knew when we got the ball back, we were going to this play, and we knew we were going to score. And then right before half, we knew we were going to this play. We hit it. We had an opportunity to score. So I think just the execution during the course of the week, in the fourth quarter, we've talked about it. When we're tired, they're tired. Getting people in there. We mixed in Justice, we mixed in Cade, we mixed in Cam Baker, we mixed in Brad at the H-back and tight end positions, and kudos for those guys being able to make those blocks in key moments.
Anytime you get out of your comfort zone and out of your ritual on a Friday, it seems like it always comes back to bite you, but these kids were resilient, and they just stood the test of time. They stood up.
Well, we worked really hard on our execution. Over the last couple of weeks, you see our execution kind of grow, and we've kind of each week we have our system, but we've kind of hung our hat on a dozen or so plays or formations that kind of help us. So, and we try to keep working on those plays, keep working on those plays. One of those plays in particular, like early here, was getting dry on that shallow crosser, and now we hit them on the high over top. So just keep working. These guys are showing me what they can do. And it's allowed us kind of go to the drawing board and get guys moving around. But our third down percentage was better in the game, and then just the ability to make the play and focus, in the particular third down areas was critical for us throughout the night.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for our recap of last week's huge win against Ray County. When we come back, we'll preview tonight's big contest as we take another step forward, securing a home field advantage playoff game as we take on the Volunteer Falcons. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to the Coach Shawn Witten Show. Coach, coming into tonight is a big contest. It's a conference game. We got to win tonight in order to take one more step in securing at least one home field playoff game.
Well, it's another great opportunity to be at home in front of our crowd. Continue to build the momentum. We're going to see a really good team that does some difficult things on offense and defense. But I'm excited just the opportunity each week to kind of get back out there to see what the next plays our guys are going to make. Our confidence is super high right now, and it ought to be because the kids have worked really hard and we persevered through, and we're peaking at the right time.
You go back and you watch the Volunteer film. You watch Tennessee High, they'll have 3 different quarterbacks. And you watch the Seymour game, they'll have 2 different quarterbacks. How do you prepare? All 3 of them are different. You got number 1 who is tall and lanky, almost reminds me of the East quarterback, and then you got one that's sort of a stockier style. How do you go into a game plan trying to plan against all 3?
Well, I think our guys got to beat themselves, but I think the biggest point is I think it's a great challenge. That you got to prepare. In order to have success on Friday, you have to put the work in, and I think it challenges us mentally that at this point in time in the season, you can't have physicality all the way through practice. So I think it challenges us mentally to recognize, can we be one step ahead of them to kind of figure out what they're trying to do to us. And if we do that, then we're going to make the plays and get the stops on defense. And then that's going to help us score early and put the game away. Is can you recognize who's a Q? The Q that was there, where is he now? Is he located at H-back, tight end, number 3 receiver? Are they in anti formations? Are they in unbalanced formations? The more that we can recognize, it's going to allow us to have an advantage. And those are the things you got to be able to win, with your execution. And defensively, we've got to be able to recognize what they're in order to make the stops.
Now flip over defensively. It seemed like they really don't have a set defense. It seemed like sometimes it looks like it's a 4-man front and 5-man front, it's amoeba style defense. Is that, how do you go back attacking that?
Well, I think what we've tried to do this week a little bit is just kind of just go play. I mean, I think we've got enough of plays that we've incorporated in our playbook that's kind of expanded the last couple of weeks is kind of go back 3 weeks ago, we take a little pieces of each week and let's form a playbook to where let's get guys on the move. And so I think, obviously it all starts with us offensively is what are we going to do to continue to build off Nate? Nate is getting us going. Obviously, over 200 yards last week, phenomenal effort. I don't think we've had a 200-yard rusher probably since Ethan Thomas, it's a long time. But just the burst and the physicality that Nate ran with. There was one particular run that he ran a counter play up the middle and just kept fighting to get the extra yards. And so, and then how tough he is down at the goal line too, to be able to go inside and out. I thought one time we ran a counter play and he just outran McDuffie. He just kept going, just said, the heck with it, I'm going to go. But I think when guys get focused on Nate, it opens up opportunities for other people, and they're getting their eyes there, and then we're starting to move. We threw a couple of Shawn passes to Cade. We threw we've got the tight end out. We've had some couple bootlegs. We've been putting formation boundary, trying to attack different things. So I think now we just got to kind of keep working, keep dialing up a few plays, and let our guys go make the plays on Friday. I'll tell you, Friday was the first time at the end of the game where you had huge smiles across the board, just offensively, defensively. We made a few plays, special teams, but those are the kinds of wins that we've been accustomed to of, finally things went our way, but we made it go our way because we got the stops, we made the adjustments, we made the plays, and our guys came through for us big Friday night.
Let me pick up on something you said. We talked about early, during that rough 3-game stretch to begin the season. You knew you had talent, you knew you had toughness, but they weren't playing as a team. We said they just need a little confidence. And your brother Ryan said that, we need confidence. The last 3 weeks, we've seen Dalton Mitchell handle that quarterback position like you're supposed to. And like you said, that's the Nate that we've gotten used to, except it's jump cuts, it's one cut, north-south, it's square shoulder, and then it's lowering his shoulder. So do you see that in the whole team, that confidence?
Well, I do think it's huge, and I think that, we've changed some things that we're doing on the perimeter, but the consistency's got to stay between the tackles. The linemen have got to continue to focus on doing the things they need to do in order to keep Nate going. Our pass protection has been better, which but the confidence in Dalton and the pocket presence, he's not panicking. He knows where he's going with the ball. He's putting the ball in front of the receivers where they can catch it and try to get the yards. We talked about a third down efficiency early in the year. We're probably 3 of 13, 2 of 12. We just weren't sustaining any types of drives. But I think just some versatility and helping our line as the options helped us because we're able to bypass the defensive linemen and get up on the linebackers. Everybody knows that we've been a lateral passing team with a lot of the screens. We basically kind of abandoned that part of it unless they just kind of given it to us. And so we've gone to some throwing the ball across the middle. We're getting our tight end and H-back going. But it all starts that even our success over the last little bit, you got to have somebody on offense that kids believe in. And right now, it's Nate. Nate has created a spark. He's created us an identity that if we can get him going, it opens up opportunities for everyone else. And I think, too, that if Cade at H-back and Justice and Baker and Dry at the slot, the more that we get the ball to Dry in the slot, it opens up guys the opportunity. That goes back to Perkins at the slot. It goes back to Wetzel as an outside receiver. It goes back when Jake was a slot receiver. It's just you got to have those type of roles, and I think we've settled into those areas.
And we talked about, Z19, Zach Hartley, too.
Yeah.
We talk about that, and we started the year, and, we learned a lot of things from the Green Devils 4 years ago, and they perfected the bubble screen, and the trips right, trips left, with those big studs we had. And we picked that up. You could do that with Jake, and you could do that certainly with Parker. Tried it with Teddy, but that just did not seem to be his forte. So now that you've got Jeriah on these slants and the digs and the short outs, that's opened Teddy up more too, hasn't it?
It has, and without Teddy's speed to get vertical, we ran out and up with Jeriah. Teddy is from 5 to 10 to 15. His burst is pretty incredible. But just the ability that we talked about a lot, just throwing completions. It doesn't matter where the completion is. Just catch the ball, keep the ball moving, keep the time going. But I thought that we managed our second half better because they did limit our possessions in the first half. We did score quick on 2 drives, so I think that we got more possessions, we got more stops, and then we capitalized on those possessions that we got in the second half as well.
And Tony's right. When you watch the tape on Volunteer, when the quarterback changes, the quarterback doesn't go out, he goes somewhere else on offense. And on defense, their defense, he's right. You can't see what they're going to do even right before the snap of the ball. On offense and on defense, who are making those calls for you right now? Let's go start with the Cyclones on defense.
Well,
who makes that call? Is it a linebacker? Is it a line? You call it from the sidelines? How do you do
Well,
that?
I think Shankles has done a really good job of the interior making the calls, being versatile. I think even as coaches, we've had to try to get out of our comfort zone and get guys really think about, how we can maximize, how far Eli Guess and Landon Hughes have come inside. It's just given us some opportunities there where people early in the year were just gutting us, and so, and then, I think Shankles has done a good job of just taking the command. He's taking ownership of that mic back. And it doesn't mean he's got to make all the plays, but you've got to have somebody that's going to take control. It's just like us offensively. We just started out the season, we're just spinning our wheels because, where are we going to go? And so I think it's played its hands out. Eli Williams is a soft-spoken personality where he just doesn't have that Mike Backer take charge, take commands, and it's kind of helped Shankles develop a role where when he's on the field, he gets us in positions to make us go. I think Brad's consistency for the D-line, his demeanor out there makes the other guys better, Ben Adams, Andrew Blevins, and those guys. And so I think, too, a couple of years ago, guys like Whitaker at H-back, we don't throw to the tight end, we don't throw the H-back. We start the season, when you can get those guys involved, it opens things up all the way around in our offense. And so the ability to spread things around has, give us good options. It's kind of completely, for defenses, it's kind of, okay, they've done this, they've done that. Okay, we've shown them some looks. Well, they've prepared for those looks, and we've countered with these other looks. And so we've tried to go away from some of our tendencies. And, who would have thought this when we started this season that we would have switched to a 3-man front defense? And then who would have thought that when we started this year that we've had to completely kind of change things on offense? But credit our guys, they've not stopped working. Our win Friday night was a credit to our guys. They just kept doing the things that we talked about, and it's paid dividends for us. And so, I think, at the end of that game Friday, it's just it's a great feeling. I mean, I think there's smiles all the way home.
And one last thing about that is we hit it tonight with Volunteer. The easiest thing in the world is just to keep doing what you've always done. But that's also the definition of insanity, to do the same thing and expect a different result. Speak a little bit about what you expect to see tonight as a second team.
You talk about complacency is a word we use a lot. You either get better or you get worse. You can't stay the same. The mentality is just, we've got a couple of weeks here where we've got to maximize each day. We got to focus on smaller areas and get better. In order to present ourselves home playoff opportunities. We know in 3 weeks when you get playoff opportunities, it's about possessions, it's about inches. And so you got to maximize those. So we've got to, we've talked about that. We've put it in front of them. We've addressed it. And that where we want to get back to, where we know the road that we're going to have to travel, even though we don't know, the teams we're going to play. But, the hung up signs in the locker room this week, many hope for it to happen, many want it to happen. It's our job to make it happen. And when we get there, we're prepared, we're persevering through, and we just can't stop working. Now, physicality in practice can't be physical all the time, but mentally we've got to keep sharpening our executions. And so we can't wait to work on things. We got to slowly keep working on things that are going to help us. But it's been a collective team effort. I thought Friday night was all three phases. We really won. Teddy, getting the pooch punt down on the 1 yard line was big. I mean, just guys coming up, stops. I mean, I thought that you can see the unselfishness on offense. We're blocking for one another. We're making plays. When your numbers dialed up, you got to make the play, make the catch. And so I think we've learned to kind of let the last play go and get to the next play. And just credit our guys. They've not stopped working, and super proud of where we are. Look forward to tonight's game. And I think just now it's just like I think guys are ready to get back to practice each and every day, Stacey. I think that there's a contagious of, what has Coach got for me today, what are the plays I'm going to go today, and let's go out there and get them done. And I think we've kind of amped that up. And that's the message about tonight is like we just got to go play. Get the ball to those guys, let them go make some plays. If it doesn't work, okay, we'll go back. And, I think the guys have done that to where the, first play of the game, we throw it out there to Teddy. Got corner, gets it, maybe he gets a 10-yard gain. So just got to keep playing and keep going. And, credit to our guys. I think we're right where we need to be.
Coach Witten, as always, we thank you very much. That's going to do it for this week's edition of the Shawn Witten Show. Those smiles come with wins, and the confidence come with wins. And we certainly had one last week, and certainly look forward to having one tonight as the Cyclones finally come back to the beautiful confines of Citizens Bank Stadium as we take on a conference foe, the Volunteer Falcons, as they make the trip here. We'll be back after these words from our sponsor, and Tony and I will have our preview before kickoff at 7:30 here on WBEJ.